I'm going to call our meeting to order. If everybody would stand, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance. And after that, I'm going to ask Alderman Betts to lead us in prayer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Our Father in heaven, we are grateful for a day of life that you've given to us. I'm grateful for the place where we live, the country we live. Pray, Lord, continued blessings on us. Ask you, Lord, now as we enter into the business of the city, that we do it wisely. Help us, Lord, to make good decisions. For we pray this in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen. All right, well, welcome everybody here. Next thing we have is roll call.
Town of Vidalia Board of Aldermen roll call for the regular meeting of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen dated April 14th, 2026. Alderman Betts.
Present.
Alderman Gardner.
Here.
Alderman McCoy.
Present.
Alderman Probst.
Yes.
Alderman Smith. Mayor, let the record show that a quorum of the board is present and accounted for.
Okay, first housekeeping thing we need to do is approve our minutes from our previous meetings. Are there any questions, additions, deletions? If not, I hear a motion for approval.
I move that we approve the minutes.
Motion made by Alderman McCoy. To hear a second? Second by Alderman Betts. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, state law, open meeting law requires that for us to have a public comment section at the beginning of all of our current agenda items. And that's usually if somebody does have, we'll limit that to 3 minutes. You can talk about anything on the agenda. It's not something that you can just get up and talk about, but if it's on the agenda, you have 3 minutes to get up and say something about it. Unless now, if you're on the agenda later on something, one of the things, of course, you would have some participation at that point. And if somebody does have a public comment, I'd like for them to get to the podium, state the agenda item that they're addressing and what it's referenced to, and then they'll get their 3 minutes. Is there anybody have any public comments on any agenda items? Yes, ma'am.
Hello. I have a comment or update on a project. And I'm here tonight to give an update on a previously approved project. Funds for special needs field were previously approved, and we have a consultant coming Friday to figure out our best options for a special needs turf field. This will accommodate our special needs population from ages 4 and up of our Challenger League of the Little League organization. I should have a quote by the end of the month, and I'm just making sure those funds are still available for our Challenger League. And we are looking forward to a great season and currently have 45 athletes signed up to participate in this year's Challenger League.
Okay, great. You only did 20 seconds but the answer is yes, the money is available. Okay?
Thank you.
I got one question for you. The field that you're looking at, is it the backfield?
No. So we originally said no to that field because it was so small and it would have major updates because the dugouts would need to be expanded and then if the field extended, because we do have grown men that can hit out of the 200-foot field. So we were looking at the girls' high school field on this side, and then we were also looking at a different area to build a field specifically for special needs in our Challenger League.
And that's going to be on my report too. If we want to elaborate further, we'll get to the report and talk about that. Okay, thank you a bunch. All right, now we're going to go to first item.
Do you have anybody else?
Oh, I'm sorry. Agenda item that you're going to be
Number 14.
14.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I know we've talked about this a little before, and I think tonight, correct me if I'm wrong, is just bringing up an ordinance to pass. Is that right? All right. So just some questions to think about. Who will enforce the ordinance? If the cart is not legal on the road, will it be towed? What will happen to it if it gets stopped and it's not legal? And will the city be liable or the town liable if it's not enforced and somebody, not if, but when somebody gets hurt with the passing of the ordinance? And I'd also appreciate if any alderman who had use of said carts for personal, not vote on this matter. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Shelby Strong. I'm number 4. Do y'all want me to go ahead and speak now or wait till we all?
Let's wait. We'll handle that in that. So thank you. Yes,
Okay.
but we'll certainly bring you up when that time comes. Anybody else? It's good. That's good. Good comments. Okay. All right, and we're going to move on to item number 1, which is our presentation of financial statements for February 2026 by Ms. Deborah Moak, our CPA and Chief Financial Officer. Deborah?
Tonight's financial statements include the balance sheet as of February the 28th, 2026, the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance for the 8 months ending February the 28th, 2026. These financial statements have been distributed to all department heads and aldermen for their review. In summary, the town has combined cash in the bank of $4.9 million. This includes $1.4 million in the hydro fund and $1.3 thousand in the sales tax fund, $1.3 million in the sales tax fund. Investments include $29.3 million. The hydro fund has 26.7, and 1.8 million is in the general fund, and 750,000 is in the ARPA funds. Total assets are 76.3 million. Total liabilities are 13.9 million, and for our fund balance of 62.4 million. The statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in fund balance for the 8 months ending February 28, 2026 indicates combined revenues of 30 million, total expenditures of 36 million, for a change in net position of a negative 6 million. Total revenues are at 62% of budget. Personnel expense is at 70%. Materials and supplies are at 76%. Other services and charges is at 108%. The high percentage of other services and charges is due to the $6.2 million spent year-to-date on hydro projects and $2.1 million spent on the water plant expansion. The negative $6 million variance is due to the rebates, hydro projects, and water plant expansion costs. The variance should be around 33% remaining. The change in net position is not expected to meet the total budgeted amount since the hydro projects were not included in the budget. These projects have been carryovers from previous years. The fund balance from the previous years is a source of the revenue for these project expenses. The budget to actual comparison does not include the $5.8 million for the payoff of the transmission line debt and construction. The water plant expansion is also not included in the budget since it covers multiple years of construction. The budget to actual comparison indicates that salaries and wages are over budget in the sanitation department, which is due to employees reclassified after the budget was approved. Many of the employees were in the street department. Personnel costs are also higher than budget in the police, fire, and ambulance, electric, and sewer departments. The auditors have submitted the audit report timely. They will come to present the audit once the audit is reviewed and approved by the Louisiana Legislative Auditors. There were no findings. The budget process has begun and will be presented to the board at the next regularly scheduled meeting in May.
Any questions from council to Ms. Moak? There being none, I want to commend Deborah. You heard her say there's right now the preliminary report is there's no findings in our audit, and that's a testament to the work of her and the office and all of our office staff. Doing a heads-up job on doing what all they're supposed to do within the office. And I want to thank them for the work well done, because I can promise there's very few municipalities or political subdivisions in the state to get that type of audit. So thank you, Deborah. Okay, we're going to move on. The next thing we have is board discussion and vote on approval of an occupational license. First one we have is River Bridge Vending Service. Mr. Eddie White. Is Eddie here by chance? He's not. I guess it's a vending service. And it's going to be, his business location is 917 Martin Luther King Avenue. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Alderman McCoy,
Second.
second by Alderman Smith. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. It's in your district, right?
It is.
Okay. The next one we have is a sign, board discussion vote on approval of a sign application from DC Ag LLC. There you'll see within your packet what the sign is going to be. I think they're changing up their brand of one of their, what they handle. Coyote is, I guess that's how you say that. It's got a coyote on top of it. Is any questions on that? Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Brent, Alderman Smith, and second by Alderman Betts. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, the next thing we have is one of the things we tabled last time, board discussion on feral cats at Vidalia Riverfront. Ms. Shelby Strong, if she'll come up and Floor is yours.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor Buzzcraft and City Council members. My name is Shelby Strong, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you tonight. One of the reasons I asked to be added to this meeting is because of a recent interaction a community member had with a city employee while trying to help the riverfront cat situation. During the interaction, she was told that more needed to be done, or the cats would end up killed. We are not sharing this to place blame on an individual. We are sharing it because it raised a concern about clarity and communication, especially for citizens who are actively trying to help. It left us unsure of how residents are expected to participate in humane efforts without fear of misunderstanding or conflict. That's why we're here tonight. Over the past months, members of our community, including myself and my family, have already rehomed, spayed, and neutered over a dozen cats from the riverfront alone. That's not including cats that we have gotten from our neighborhood that we've rehomed. We are not simply identifying a problem, we are already engaged in working toward a solution. The most effective, humane, and scientifically supported approach to managing community cats is trap, neuter, return, or TNR. This approach is supported by major animal welfare organizations, including the ASPCA and the Humane Society of the United States. We are also fortunate to have the support and guidance of Natchez Spay and Neuter, who have experience working with community cat populations and have offered to help guide our efforts here in Vidalia. I also want to point out that the city's existing ordinance already allows for cats that are not reclaimed after impoundment to become part of a trap, neuter, return program. So TNR is not something we are requesting permission for. It is already included in the city ordinance. What we are asking for is clarity and structure in how that is implemented, especially so the citizens who are willing to help are not discouraged or confused about whether their efforts are supported. It is also important to understand that feeding plays a critical role in successful TNR programs. Structured feeding allows for monitoring, humane trapping, and long-term management of colonies. Without it, cats disperse, become harder to track, and the effectiveness of TNR decreases. Feeding alone is not the solution, but feeding combined with TNR efforts allows populations to stabilize and decline over time. Removing food sources does not eliminate colonies. Research and field experience shows that cats either disperse or, and I've seen it happen, new cats will move in over time, a phenomenon known as the vacuum effect. That is why unmanaged approaches tend not to solve the issue long term. TNR, on the other hand, has been shown in multiple long-term studies to reduce populations significantly over time by stopping reproduction at the source. So tonight we are respectfully asking the City of Vidalia for three things. First, transparency regarding the current plan for managing the cat population, the riverfront cats, as well as across Vidalia. Second, clear guidance and protection for citizens engaging in humane TNR efforts so they can participate without fear or of confusions or penalty. And third, partnership with community members and organizations like Natchez Spay and Neuter to implement a structured, humane, and effective approach. We are not asking the city to do this alone. We are asking to work alongside the city in a way that is already supported by research, already reflected in your ordinance, and already being carried out by concerned citizens. These cats are a part of Vidalia. The question is not whether they exist, but how we choose to manage them moving forward. We have an opportunity to handle this humanely, effectively, and in a way that is aligned with both community action and existing city policy. Thank you for your time and listening tonight.
Okay. Ms. Strong, I gotta say, that was and outstanding. You certainly framed the situation perfectly. I will say that, anytime we deal with animals or family, we know that a lot of us have a lot of passion when we deal with
Yes.
a lot of us look at our pets as family a lot of times. And of course, everybody, I'm sure for everyone that could get up and speak as eloquently as you did, there's some others that could come up and speak eloquently against.
Yes.
So I think what you said is right. Communication is key for us to talk about those things. We have had, and I can remember that the town, when we talked about this before, and I think Alderman Probst was in the group when we was talking about the cats and the problems with cats is, they are fair. I mean, even the tame or pet cats, they don't know their domicile. They don't know where they live. They will roam. They will get away from where they're supposed to be. Get on people's cars, or those that might still be active, will spray. And we know that's not something, if you've got a boat under your carport, I promise you it's a target. So, but there's a lot of issues that come up with that. And communication, just like you did tonight, I think is key. And for us to move toward a resolution. The town does have, the trap, neuter, and return policy in place, and Dr. Gregg handles that for us. However, that's only handled through our law enforcement agent who does that. We can't just say, if you find a cat, take him to Dr. Gregg and we'll pay the bill. That's not how it works, because we'd have everybody in the world get their cats taken care of, in the town paying for it. So we got to come up with some things. Now, I want to apologize if anybody that has a City of Vidalia shirt on that might have got rude, but finding out, now I walk the riverfront a good bit in the evening, and the cats, one of the colonies is around our water plant. Our water wells, which is, a lot of people, it's sanitary, people think of that, and, when they see, food, and I have slides prepared of some of the I don't want to put them up there yet, unless they want to see, people want to see them.
Mm-hmm.
But where the food is, cats will cough up hairballs, and it's just, nobody go clean that up. It's just all the other issues with it. Our plants along our river, our convention center, are a pretty popular, going to the bathroom spot. They'll get up and dig into our plants, and there's issues involved with it. And so I think you're certainly on the right track for us discussing it and coming up with a solution. I agree. How long would it take for that to happen with the trap, neuter, and return? Because as you know, when we talk about dogs, when people find out that has a little bit of a heart and they want to kill the dog themselves, let's go drop it off in Vidalia. It's got a good chance of making it. They'll start having that same attitude toward cats, and it become a dumping ground to dump their cats on the riverfront to, hey, they're going to get fed. And I don't have that on my conscience to do that. So, there's a lot of things we need to talk about of policing that. Of course, we have cameras everywhere, trying to catch that time and frame, and catching them red-handed, letting an animal go. I wish we could catch them. And if we do, we'll go from there with it. But it's a problem. I'm going to be honest with you. And I know some of the aldermen might want to speak to it, or some of the other people on the other side of it, of the downfall of it. Again, we have a problem. I think we would all admit that, because not only do the cats feed on the food, we have raccoons, possums, and other things that are usually carriers of disease. And, it's just, people walk their dogs there. We bring our dog. Mine doesn't chase the cats as bad, but I've seen some of the bigger dogs walk. They kind of get pretty rambunctious with them, but it makes me nervous. But there's issues, and I appreciate you coming and sharing it with us. It's hard to take a side one way or another, because as me in my position, I got to see the big picture. But I think this is the first step of us working together, and I would love to hear more comments from our council first, and maybe a couple comments from the public on some other thoughts on that. But again, fantastic presentation.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I want to say, the snatches, spade and neuter,
Yeah.
will they do ours free so we don't have to pay for it?
Well, that's now.
We can work with you that way. We'll let you pay the bill to the ones we trap, and instead of us paying the bill of the town, we'll take them to them if they would be willing to do that.
Well, they have actually given us a list of grant opportunities that we can apply for so that Vidalia cats can have those vouchers like you were talking about with Dr. Greg or possibly other vets that we have been reaching out to and been in contact with so that the city is not responsible for this because that's not what we're asking for. We're asking just community involvement and partnership.
But I'm just saying, if we're out there feeding the cats and we can trap them,
Mhm.
will they take care of them?
Will Natchez take care of the Vidalia
You
cats?
said you have an agreement with them.
They're guiding us.
Oh,
They're
okay.
yeah, they're
But
shadowing
They're not
us.
freely
No.
spaying and neutering those cats.
No, unfortunately, no. But
See, the cats that you have down there are supposed to have a collar and all that stuff. You do know that. That's in the ordinance also.
the cats need a collar to be put on them by their owner.
Owner.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if they're not, they're feral cats, which are trappable and,
And
To
then
do the process.
TNR, right? The trap, neuter, spay,
mhm.
and return. Yeah.
So,
The problem is, a lot of times with this is the introduction of other cats, coming,
Yeah.
people dropping them off.
And it
But
happens
again-
all the time. all
And,
the time.
I wish we could kind of maybe relocate them away from our water wells,
We have been working on that, and I think we've actually moved them.
Exactly where they were asked to be.
Yeah, away from the water wells because, my kids drink that water. We understand. We have cats at home. They're clean animals, but you still do not want a wild animal near your water well. And yeah, so we've definitely tried to move them down. And we've also been working on capturing a few to TNR. And we've actually found homes for some. It's just people are afraid to do that because of some of the harassment that they have met while working on those efforts.
what about the Walmart cats? Have y'all looked into those? Because there's
The
a
Walmart cats
herd
are
up
well
there.
taken care of, not by us.
I know.
But no, we haven't.
Is anybody handling them and taking to have them,
We
neutered?
personally haven't gotten any Walmart cats. No, it's funny because there's certain areas that certain people take care of those cats. Even on the riverfront, there's the cats at the end of the walk at the hotel. People feed them. I don't know who feeds them, but that by the water well kind of became inherently our group of cats. I guess I just need to go buy some collars.
That's why you can identify them if you are able to get close enough to them.
Yeah, and we have quite a few. We have been able to get close enough to, and it's just we're working on those vouchers and working with Natchez Spay and Neuter to help us with that.
anybody else have a comment they'd like
Yeah,
to
I
add?
want, the total price of taking care of a cat the way you described it is what?
Do you mean capturing, having them spayed and neutered and then released? Usually with a voucher,
About 60 to 70, if we can get a voucher on the Natchez side, but we've actually paid out of our own pocket with this new vet. That costs us roughly between 150 to 200. But we didn't know about Dr. Greg, so that's something that I want to look into and ask him about to try to.
But the
Right.
only thing, Dr. Gregg, with us, if our animal control captures a cat, that's where he takes it. And because we get a bill from Dr. Gregg to do those things. And I remember, I think we set $5,000 for it at one time.
Bunch. And we also, hey,
I
we
mean,
might
we're-
need to write a grant. I don't know.
Yeah.
If they're
I
out
could
there,
look
maybe you can share that with our grant writer.
Honestly, if you could come up with something that is feasible, we could probably even work with you to help y'all come up with a resolution for it. I'd like to see it done too. I'd like to see us, I don't want to have the cats destroyed or anything like that. But I think we can work together on coming up with a solution. And again, I can't promise you that there won't be, you run across somebody that maybe steps in. I know they might be clean mostly, but every animal at some point is not too clean. But maybe we could just be mindful of that. Depends on the other person's experience, might not be as good.
Yeah.
Or love animals the way y'all might do. I mean, I love animals. I got pets. I mean, I got a dog, but
Yeah.
but anyway, my son used to have all kind of animals. But what do y'all
Who's
think?
writing our grants now?
Sam.
Sam. So could he get with her?
Yeah, we'll have him. If you have some, we'll certainly hook you up with our
And get a
grant
meeting
writer
with him and
to
try
maybe
to
look
set
at
up a
some
meeting and
things.
try to help him.
Okay,
Y'all
great.
get
Because
together and-
it's not only a problem there, but it's also a
Yeah.
problem in the neighborhoods. You got
Everywhere.
some people that they put out the food bowls and here they come. I mean, at night you run across, there's 7 or 8 cats out there running around in a certain part of town.
Yeah.
So we certainly need to get a grip on all of it.
I agree. Okay, well, thank y'all for your time
Well,
very
thank
much.
you, and thank you for a good presentation. Very well.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Okay, the next thing that we have is a presentation on current millage issues for the town of Vidalia by Ms. Jeannie Archer, our Concordia Parish Tax Assessor. Jeannie, you have the floor.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good.
So I'm back again. That once a year time where we talk about millages, and I think everybody knows, what a millage is and what you need the millage for and all that stuff. So I won't just go into that, but y'all have a really low millage. It's 3.2 currently. If you decide that you want to keep that millage based on last year's figures, that would bring you in somewhere around $131,000, 501.13. Now, that would be if everything was collected, and we all know that everything doesn't get collected, but that would be what that current millage would bring you. If you decided you wanted to roll forward, you have the capability of rolling forward to 3.37. That would bring you to receiving, if everything was collected, $138,485.80, a difference of a little over $7,000. I know most of the time y'all like to keep your millage low. It's a benefit for the taxpayers, and you're not passing that burden on to them, and y'all are able to operate with the lower millage and keep that. And so that's basically your options. And I know that y'all like to keep it low, and these are your figures, and y'all can decide whatever y'all would like to do. And if you got any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Council?
Stay.
I make a motion, we keep it at 3.2.
Stay at the same.
I second it.
All right.
There we go. All right, next thing we have is board discussion to set the millage being levied on the 2026 tax roll on all property subject to taxation by the town of Vidalia.
You got questions?
Okay? We're in the middle of, no, we need to carry on with that. I mean,
I tried to, but I thought you were just asking them if they had any more comments, so I didn't get up.
okay, well, then they'll be around afterwards if you have a direct question for one of them. Okay, thank you. Okay, council, or we talked about it, she's presented that.
Make a motion, we keep it.
Okay, we got the number 7. I guess
We
this
discussed.
is just now the discussion on it. I mean, she's talked about it, now we're gonna do the discussion, then item 7 is actually the board adoption of the millage rate, so. Okay, y'all wanna move on to 7?
Yeah.
All right, moving on to 7, board adoption of the millage rate for 2026. Do I hear a motion to approve it as presented?
I make a motion.
Motion made by Alderman Probst, second by Alderman Gardner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Jeannie. Now we have board discussion and vote on approval on a resolution to incorporate complete streets recommendations into the town of Vidalia transportation infrastructure. And Ms. Anna Gouge, if she would come forward, we're going to let her talk about this.
No, you guys have had a presentation on this before. I wanted to be here today for any questions that you guys might have and just kind of, I guess, do a recap on purpose of complete streets, just to jog your memory on some stuff. So looking at the adoption of the Complete Streets policy. I know you guys have seen the maps in the past as well. But it's just mostly to align with DOTD policy and our local level policy. It creates that shared expectation for the both of us, so that when DOTD is coming in and they're doing work on these state maintained roads, they're going to look at your local level policy as well. It doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're going to be able to go in and take charge and demand that they're going to be able to do these things, but it does create better alignment. It makes you more competitive for DOTD funding in the future as well. They like to look at that type of stuff. For anybody in here that doesn't really know, Complete Streets has a lot to do with establishing movement throughout the town, but looking at priorities for not only vehicles, but as pedestrians, cyclists, transit users, and other motorists in the area.
Okay, and as some of you will remember, there was a walk audit done. I think there was one sidewalk from the high school to the Vidalia market area in place there.
That's correct.
Yes, sir.
That was one of them. Then the other was from the school on District 2, from the school and area down there, sidewalks to the courthouse square.
This is the thing that was done with former employee Lorraine Scott, right?
That's correct.
Yes.
This
Yeah,
is
that's
the
who did the
Transportation
grant on
Alternatives
it.
Program.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And I'm in communication with DOTD as well.
If they're
They've done a lot of
if-
restructuring. I know
if-
we've heard about
If
that.
they're funding it, it takes just like the SLU project.
It
If they're
does.
funding it, it's you might as well get locked in for several years.
It does. I hope this doesn't deter anybody from moving forward on stuff and just knowing that this is just the future. It might be future-based projects that you start seeing, but just continuing on with that. And these are all good things. I know these good things just take time sometimes.
So have they started any of the big work yet?
They haven't started the actual work yet. I think a lot of it has been the consultants with the engineering and drafting and design plans.
Okay, any more questions from Ms. Goose? Do I hear a motion we approve the resolution?
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I think I've heard, who made the motion? Alderman Gardner made the motion, second was by Alderman Smith. Alderman Betts. Alderman Betts, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it so much, and thank you for the work you do for us. Okay, item number 9 on the agenda is board discussion and vote of approval for AirMed Network Municipal Site Membership for the town of Vidalia, Louisiana for April 2026 through April 27. However, their representative couldn't be here tonight to answer some questions I know several people had, and they have asked that we would table this until they can be here at the next meeting.
I move that we do table this.
You want to, okay, motion made by Alderman McCoy to table. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Probst. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Number 10 is board discussion vote on a resolution to award the bid for the town of Vidalia Concordia Avenue subsurface improvements to TL Construction Company. Any question on that? The bid came in, they were the low bid for $130,000. And that is the area, Concordia Avenue. They had 5 potential bidders, and TL Construction was the low bidder of $130,000. Do I hear a motion to approve that bid?
Motion.
Motion made by Alderman Probst. Here a second. Second by Alderman Gardner. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank y'all. Okay, the next thing we have is board discussion and vote on a resolution to award bid for town water wells improvement project to Hope Enterprises LLC. And this bid came in, y'all know we have to raise our water wells. This was something that the Department of Health has required us to do. And this is just following their requirements. This low bid is going to Hope Enterprises in the amount of $1,690,800. Any questions? And we're paying for the majority of this out of ARPA funds that we had left over. And we're trying to get this done because it's got to be spent by the end of the year. Is that correct, Deborah?
Mhm.
Yep. So we're trying to get this done.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Alderman Smith. All in favor, second
Second.
by Alderman Betts. All in
Second.
favor say aye. Okay, now we have board discussion and vote to approve the bids for 2 dump trucks for the street and utility departments. Okay, the first, we only had Scott Trucks give us a bid. The first one we opened is a 5/6 yard dump truck bid enclosed. Now, I will tell y'all that we have leased these very vehicles. And for a month, and the monies that we did have on the lease were taken off the price. I think they said they would do that. So the bid on the 2020 International is $59,100. It was only bid turned in. And then $59,100. And on the other truck, our other dump trucks were completely worn out. And this is the larger truck. And the bid on it came in at $106,400. Do y'all want to do separate, or do you want to just approve both at one time?
Can approve both at one time.
Okay, all right. Do I hear a motion we approve both bids for each truck?
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Gardner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we have board discussion and vote of approval on the Board of Aldermen travel to LMA 49th Annual Municipal Day in Crawfish Bowl. This is for the board to approve that travel.
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Alderman Gardner. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Probst. For discussion, I would just ask any of the aldermen traveling to that, if they will come in that Friday before that to request any kind of advance funds, if they would do that.
Well, that's what I was gonna, also say. In the past, basically you would say you would go and you would get your meals or mileage check. Well, the mileage once you come back with the meals in advance, because no alderman, mayor, or anybody that's traveling out of town, if we're supposed to be fed or anything like that, you know, we shouldn't have to send an email saying we want to accept the money when that's something that's already noted that we're supposed to receive.
Well, Alderman Gardner, just for clarity, the office needs to know when you're leaving, what meals are going to be provided, and what that check will be. For example, the municipal day could go 2 days. I personally am going on day one, but I'm coming home. I'm not going to require a hotel stay. And if they just assume what you're going to do, they're not going to know what to pay. I think I'm just asking all the aldermen, whoever travels, come in, tell us when you're going, when you're leaving, and what meals you're requesting. Because if meals are provided, there's not monies provided through our policies and procedure manual, where you just automatically get money if bills are being provided.
And then it also states and said if you have certain food allergies, there's supposed to be a substitute for that as well. So,
Well, and if that's provided by doctor's excuse, we will be glad to give that every consideration.
and I think those documents, if that was the case, have been done. So
Okay,
it should be duly noted.
okay. So, and again, all our request is that the Friday before, because coming in the day of, I might be gone, John might be out of town, there's nobody to sign a check, just come in that Friday, whoever's going, and request
Well,
anything.
I'll say right now, Pat, you can go ahead and make the check out. I'm gonna be there the whole entire time. It's noted at this meeting that has been said for me. I can't speak to no other alderman.
Well, I just want to make a comment on the whole deal. My wife did a lot of conferences, a lot of travel, a lot of things. Most of them had an agenda. Most of them had an agenda of your stay and the meals that were provided, cut and dry. Meal provided, no pay.
Yep.
Not provided, pay. Food allergies, go to the doctor, get documentation, put it in your file. That's it. Simple. So let's do it that way, okay? Let's have an agenda item that's mailed or given to you, because anybody that's going on a travel has an agenda item, and this published well before. So I think that would suffice.
And that's all I'm asking, yeah.
That's what I'm asking. But it just clarifies everything.
Yeah.
It stops all the
What
stuff.
day is that on?
It's going to be
May
the,
5th.
go ahead, what time?
May 5th.
May 5th?
May 5th.
And I'd love for all the aldermen to go. And the only thing is, we do need to know when you're leaving and when you're going to return.
Right.
That's important. We just can't assume, and that's important for us to know. So,
And that's where I say with the agenda, you got your agenda. You can email it, you can pull it off
You
your
can
computer,
email it.
ever, email it, I'm leaving on such and such day. Here's the agenda, food provided here. Okay?
perfect. Okay, do I hear a motion to approve those aldermen that want to travel to
I think we
that?
made the motion and he
Yes,
said.
sir. Second.
So what are you doing, second? All in favor, say aye. Okay, all right, move on to the next thing. Introduction of an ordinance amending Chapter 40, Traffic and Motor Vehicles of the Code of Ordinances of the Town of Vidalia, Louisiana, providing for the allowance of golf carts to be permitted by the Town of Vidalia and allowed to be driven on streets within the Town of Vidalia corporate limits. Now, this is an introduction of an ordinance only. There's not discussion tonight. So that's, that being said, this is just an introduction. You will have an opportunity to see what that ordinance now will consist of, and we can debate it and address it at our next meeting in May. Okay, so it has been introduced. Now, right quickly, I want to run through our project update. We have some real good things going on in the town. A lot of people are excited about our things. I want to talk a little bit first about economic development. Today, we met with one of our industrial, is looking at another phase of their development, and it's looking very good. I can't, announce anything yet, but it's on the ground floor of moving forward.
Yeah.
And it's going to be huge for our area, and we're excited about that. We're working with the LED and also the Louisiana Central Economic Development together with the company to make all this happen. We met with a lot of the political subdivisions dealing with the ITEP component of them doing this, and everything's been very favorable. Very excited about that. Many of you might not know, but we've been working on it for a few years now. Southern Tire has acquired 6 acres right across from Walmart that is going to install a big super center where they'll do work, mechanic work and tires and everything on oil changes on passenger vehicles, big trucks. This is going to be huge for the town. These are large ticket items a lot of times, and that's going to be sales tax money for our town and bringing them in. And they're one of the biggest companies, I think, in that type of business in the country. They're owned by some brothers out of Columbia, Mississippi. I bet Falcon might even know them. And but they're huge, and I think this is going to be a big plus for the town, and also for our area, for them to move and have a facility that they can get in and out of easy and have the car service. We also have a very good prospect on the denim building. We can't talk about it. I'm sorry, I don't even know myself, but other than we are being told that it is somebody that's very substantial, that we're on the short list for them to maybe choose this site. So moving on with that, I will say that Concordia Parish Economic Development and District and our board meetings will pick back up in conjunction with LED helping us, and Louisiana Central Economic Development are going to work with us to get that back off the ground and moving forward. DA Big Lane, bids will be open next Thursday at 10 o'clock. Please, make sure we get that in the news. DA Big Lane bids will be open April 23rd at 10 o'clock. The slough project, the only thing left on that is the fencing. We've had a drought for a long time, and it will run. However, until we haven't had any rain or flood for them to actually put it to use and see how that works. And so we hope that will, they did the rock remediation on the wings of it to keep from erosion. And that we believe the only thing they have left to do is some fencing around it.
I have a question pertaining to it. I know for the last couple of meetings, I've been asking about flying the drones around it so the public can see what's going on and all that. Have we got that done yet?
We have not. Honestly, you could either walk around with your camera.
I do, but people, everybody can. I personally, I do.
Okay.
Personally, but I'm talking about for the public, not just for me.
Yeah.
To know what's going on.
Okay.
Just like, we did it with the park.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next thing I have is transmission line is just about completed. They have some insulator bushings that they're hooking up, and they'll finish up the connections on that, and that'll be completed. The Miracle League we talked about, I think she got up and talked about earlier. And look, where it goes, I'm gonna leave that up to them. They're the ones handling that. They can pick the best spot, but the council's approved money for that Miracle League project, in which I'm in full support of, and where they want to put it, that's up to them. The street project has started back up and ongoing. You've probably seen some trees being taken down in the local neighborhoods, and we finally got that. Jay did a lot of work on that in Cornell, and there's been, I think, literally blood, sweat, and tears getting that new burn site done. So we at least we've gotten compliant with DEQ of not being so close to a residence or another business with that. The water plant expansion is ongoing. No new changes there, other than they're still on go to maybe crank it up and sometime in August. Is that right, Cornell? And then they will start the refurbish of the old portion to bring it almost like new. Alderman McCoy said that the stucco improvements on the resource center look amazing. anything to report on that?
Yeah, the resource center is it's looking good. It was for those of you all who don't know, it was a 10 building at one time, and now it's a well put together, stucco, painted, new windows, new everything. There are also 2 other buildings in that same lot that have been taken care of to facilitate not just a tutorial program, but there's other ideas that they're going to use in that building. The MLK signage project, we've just about found the exact sign that we're gonna go with, and when you pull the trigger on that, we'll be there. And we are in conjunction with Concordia Parish School District.
Those other buildings, John, that y'all redid, those are they like, somebody told me they had a birthday party, so are they, as a public, they're aware of those facilities and they are available
Yes.
for them to,
Yes.
how do they go about doing that? So everybody can get an idea of what's going on with that.
So in the past, there's been is anybody here?
No.
Anybody here?
None of them.
In the past, they have been run by a board. What's the name of the board?
Concord Youth
Concord.
Development.
Yeah, are they the one that's dealing with all that?
They're the
Okay.
one, well.
That's what I didn't know, if they were the ones.
Well, Wendell is a point person on the construction and everything that's going on.
Right.
But as far as leasing the building out, when it's done, we'll get back on schedule with that.
Okay. I just know he mentioned to me when we were talking after he was here and he did the presentation, all that stuff about it was available for parties and different things, which is nice. I mean, it's a real nice building.
Yeah. Vidalia Junior High School. It's been a tedious process at best.
Yeah, I mean, it's just taken some legwork to get that done, pulled off, but it's going to be a very nice addition to that area that really needs it bad. And, I would like to, work with the school board to do some more improvements to those parks down there.
So what's going on? Are we unable to communicate well or something? What's slow in the process?
I'd rather talk about that in private than do it public.
It was just, it took a lot of discussion dealing with maintenance, who's going to maintain it, police it, things of that nature. Is it going to be open, not open? And that's some of the things that we had to work out. And I understand it. Again, I didn't think it would be maybe take as long to get it approved, but they actually started on it yesterday. So that should go pretty quick. Maybe by the end of the week, it'll be completed. So it's going to be a very nice addition to that. Right now, I'll be honest with you, our parks around our schools look like they're in bad need of repair. And also some of our buildings that our kids going to school in are very, very seriously. I was down there at the, looking at the work they were doing and looked at some of the buildings.
You were at the junior high.
At the junior high. There's a lot of work that needs to be done for sure. And of course, we got to stay in our lane.
I wouldn't go there by you.
We got to stay in our lane.
I'd stay off.
We got to stay in our
That's what
lane.
I do. There's other officials that deal with that, called the school board.
I'm careful about what I say about that because we
Yeah.
do have a representative.
Mhm.
But we all got eyes.
I got you. I got you.
It happens to be sitting in the middle of the city district.
Let them know about it too.
Well, I think I did a pretty good job of that.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
No,
Okay.
I'll stop there.
All right. The next thing I have is the Memorial Day Parade marker and also the Martin Luther King. That's still ongoing. Just a couple of questions on that. Hopefully we should get that to fruition sometime this summer, get those put up and established and
And then I want to say that I think I emailed you guys all the aldermen, along with the city clerk and the city manager verbiage. And the city of Natchez says also they'll be presenting their marker on at this year's Memorial Day Parade service. I think, I want to say that's what they stated and said. But basically the verbiage that I sent you is almost duplicate to theirs, except the starting point was here in Vidalia.
Where's that marker gonna be?
Over by the hotel, the hotel,
Canal?
by the Magnolia Bluff Hotel in that area.
Where we stop and drink water?
Yes,
They're gonna put a marker there.
in front of the one, in that area, in front of the hotel area.
It's gonna say resting spot.
I think they may have tried to email me the information. I haven't really
I'm messing with you.
focused on that part because I was so busy trying to get.
Don't
on.
let them get ahead of us, Robert, now, 'cause you
Well,
know they're
I
gonna
mean-
try to do that.
All right, I'm going to move on with our report. And this is the stuff a lot of people are waiting to hear about. Is the splash pad is going to be tested this week. It looks great. They've got the floor painted. They're going to energize it this week, I think by Friday, and get it going, and it'll be ready. The playground itself, I'm pushing for the last couple of days of this month. It's going to be a stretch. The contractor's telling us we don't think we can do it, and I'm pushing them to do it because it's been long enough. The walking trails are still not complete. There's still a lot of dirt work. You notice there's real big drops off of the sidewalks and the concrete. A lot of dirt work going to have to be brought in and brought up to level where nobody breaks an ankle on it. The pond, we were going to put riprap all the way around it to stop erosion, but Wildlife Fisheries, they had their commission meeting here, statewide commission meeting here in Vidalia last week. A lot of people saw the governor was here meeting with them after the convention center meeting. But it went real well. It was well received here in Vidalia. And I'll let the anglers know that I'm trying to get us some more largemouth bass, Florida bass fingerlings. I was promised some more. We're working on that. But the riprap, they did not like the idea of that because snakes and other things can get in there. And also, they want people to be able to get to the pond's edge, be able to, bring fish in and not damage them on the rocks. Or, I can see their point. We've moved some riprap there from the riverfront that we were taking down from our water wells. It had to be removed anyway. We're just going to try to repurpose it there and use our money to smartly, but we're going to wind up putting the rest of that riprap over somewhere else now until we can figure out what we want to do with it. Any erosion issues over on the river, we can put it. So the pond, that's the story on it. All the courts have been done. The 2 tennis courts at the old ballparks down over in Alabama have now been resurfaced and got added 2 pickleball courts to that with 1 tennis court. And very nice. We got a little bit more work to do there as far as lighting goes. The tennis courts have been done, resurfaced. The pickleball courts are there. We have some fencing things to do to put up between the courts left to do. And we also they started yesterday on the course there at the junior high school.
Mayor, have we got any plans as far as security?
As far as here?
Yeah.
Yes, we're working. Chief Merrill's working with us also. We're going to have part-time employees that will be there, that will be on site, we will not tolerate bullying, cussing, bad language. If it's done that way, we're going to get their names if we can, and they will be banned from the park. We will not tolerate that. It's not going to happen.
And
If it does, it won't happen but once.
That's a good time to talk about it. The only other calls I get, and I think I've mentioned it, Jay, before, is like the bathrooms at the tennis courts. Then the subject is not the tennis courts, but if they are in bad shape, what plans do we have to keep those bathrooms? And are we increasing staff?
We're going to come up with some way to keep them clean. I think Service Pro was in there yesterday and today cleaning up the bathrooms in over to tennis courts. They were in horrible shape. And I just want to say this, I see people, a lot of times bash different communities or bash a town or bash somebody. I can't believe they say this trash is in the ground. Look at this trash out there. They didn't bash the people that's throwing it out.
Yeah.
Bash those people, the sorry people that's throwing stuff out in the ditches. And if you see anybody do it, right now, state of Louisiana has a law. I just get upset with it because I don't want to talk about Good Friday. We were off and we didn't have people in the street. I went and I picked up some trash off the highway and somebody had literally used the bathroom in a to-go box and threw it out in the street. I picked that up. And it just, I just have a passion about that people will do that, but they, somebody go through right after somebody does that, say, look at this town, it's trash. You got trash everywhere. Our people pick up trash all day long. Start bashing the people that are throwing their trash out, or if you see them somewhere in a parking lot and they throw it out, call them out on it. I don't want you to get beat up or shot over it, but call them out on it. Say, we don't do this here.
And Mayor means it too, because I sent him a picture.
Hey, and I called, we got it, you had a tag number, and I turned it into the state, and they were supposed to have sent that guy a ticket. You can take their,
That's it.
you can take their tag number down, and anonymous, and send a little note what they did, and they will get a ticket in the mail from the state. And that's through the Lieutenant Governor's office, and I think that's a great program. If y'all see that, let's stop it. But I think I want to commend our workers. They do a fantastic job on keeping our streets and roadways and ditches clean. I thank them for that. And they do an outstanding job. But anyway, that's not where we were talking about, though. Before I got off on that rant on trash. But
We were on the courts.
We were talking.
yeah, the courts. But anyway, anybody have any other questions on the courts and all? Because I'm going to be wrapping up here.
Okay, I just wonder if you don't mind me going back to the marker and just sharing with the public the email of the verbiage that I sent you, short and sweet and simple, if you don't mind me reading it just right quick, so the public can know what, basically, we want the marker to potentially say. So it says 30th of May, Memorial Day Parade. The celebration was originally held under the leadership of the Parlow-Brownlow Grand Army of Republic number 23, WRC, since May 3rd of 1866. Sidney Shorty of Post 590 was eventually allowed to join the later years to ensure the parade tradition stayed alive and was being upheld. The origin of the parade was to honor servicemen, both alive and dead, that parade carries with a heavy burden and always has. Originally, parade participants would cross the Mississippi River via a ferry to Silver Street in Natchez, Mississippi. Once there, a break was given, and after, allotted rest and allowed other parade revelers to cross the ferries as well. Once all paraders were across the procession, and the spectators would march to the remaining distance of the National Cemetery. Our time-honored tradition continues to live on. So I would just like the public to know that that's what was sent to the Board of Aldermen and the mayor pertaining to the marker, and it's kind of similar to the one that Natchez is doing as well.
Okay, good. All right, one thing I want to point out, and then I'm about to wrap up my report and we'll adjourn. It's come up, roofing laws changed in Louisiana last August, is that correct? Mm-hmm. Anybody put in a new roof on your home, you have to get a permit. I hate it, but that's state law. And anybody getting that roof put on, whether the contractor, doing it yourself or whatever, it's got to have a permit. That's not our rule, that's state. If anybody has any question on that, I do want to make sure that gets out there, because I don't know if it's real clear. A lot of people just don't pay attention to it, but I do want to make a strong note of that. Last thing I've got is the town was being sued, and myself and our alderman were being listed in a federal lawsuit, and that suit has been dismissed. So, that being said, anybody have any other questions? Take a motion to adjourn.
Mayor Kraft, just remind you on the playground and the transmission lines, the monies that need to be appropriated for those two projects.
Right. The transmission line, Reno, we're going to have, I was going to try to get the council to approve the addition, because we got to finish it and complete it, and the playground as well. We had the bids come in, and they came in over, plus the additional things like we did, like expanding the pond and the work we had to do to the pier that was in bad need of repair. There's a lot of ins and outs and different things we did. Added some lights that it made it increase a little bit, but we never did approve all the money we needed to complete those two projects. And I think we're asking for $2 million on the play, and the whole comp in the $2 million on the playground.
2.2 on the playground.
And that's everything. That's splash pad, playground, grounds.
That's right.
Infrastructure.
That's the additional infrastructure that had to be added after the walkways were extended, lighting, electrical work, and And then the
But we
additional-
never approved, the bids came in, and we were, even before we did any kind of changes, we were still short, I think, what, 1.6, 1.8?
Mhm.
And that difference there is just, that's the difference.
And then on the transmission line,
And,
it's
let's do that.
250.
Let's-
Do we need to add an agenda item?
But I meant to do that on my reports. We can, do y'all want, do you think we should add that, council, you think we should add that as an agenda item and take it on as an agenda item on that vote for budgeting money? You think we should, I think, well, that's just to wrap it up and keep it nice and tidy. Let's add the agenda item. Okay? Do I hear a motion to add an agenda item to address the additional funds for the playground project?
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Alderman Betts. Do I hear a second?
I second.
Second by Alderman McCoy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the agenda item is made. We talked briefly about it. Any questions on that from any of the council?
So is this including just the park or is this the lines and the park?
This is everything. This is
Okay.
everything over there.
So what's gonna be the total?
It's going to be
2.2.
2.2 that we're asking for. You mean total playground?
Yes.
It's, be right at 6 million? I'll have to look at it.
Seven.
$7 million playground. Okay. Just so the public can know how much is being spent and the efforts of everything.
Well, I mean, playground, everything, every infrastructure, the streets, the walkways, the pond expansion, the
Is that
the fitness court.
Is that the farmer's market?
No, the farmer's market's gonna be separate.
And then the 250 on the transmission line,
And then 250.
which
on the
would bring it
transmission.
to 2 million.
Well, let's vote on this one. We got a motion in a second. Any more discussion on that?
No.
Okay, here, motion to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now we'll add agenda item to discuss the addition for the transmission line, and this should wrap it up. Can I hear a
I'll make
motion
a
to
motion.
add that agenda item?
I make,
Alderman Smith made that open.
Second.
Second by Alderman Betts. Okay, any discussion on it? Now, this is basically, honestly, covering the equipment rental that we feel like we were responsible for from when we had to stop construction from the contractor who had the equipment in the field. And that was his payment on the lease that he sat idle with, that we felt like that we had to pay.
250,000.
$250,000. Any questions? There a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Alderman Best. Here a second.
I'll second it.
Second by Alderman McCoy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mayor, can you tell, who made the motion to approve the playground, the addition of 2.2 million?
That was that Alderman McCoy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think.
And who second?
Or,
a second. I think.
y'all don't remember which one you did?
I was
I don't
second.
either.
You can always go back and review the video.
If I was second, it was him. It was
Yeah.
Brent.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. All right, I hear a motion to adjourn.
Make that
Before we
motion.
adjourn, I just want to remind everybody that next month, our 160-year Memorial Day Parade celebration, Monday, May 25th, is 160 years.
Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Alderman Gardner. Here a second.
Second.
Second by Alderman Probst. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thank y'all very much.